Hi, this is Lindsay, and this is my first YouTube video. This video is in response to a recent video done by Trisha on the sexual molestation of children within the Jehovah's Witness organization. I thought her video was brave, and I thought that it would be time for me to add my voice to the subject. So, here goes. I was born and raised a Jehovah's Witness. I was a third generation. I was born in a small town, and I stayed in the religion for the first 23 years of my life. At age 5, a new girl moved into my kingdom hall. Her name was Tina, and she was 6. And very quickly we became best friends. So I was at Tina's house all the time, like very consistently, and surprisingly for my age. I was there like every weekend. Her father was a ministerial servant, and her mother was a pioneer. And so they were the perfect little family. And, no one questioned a thing. No one questions anything in the Kingdom Hall. My parents just dropped me off at my new friend's house. At age 8, my friend Tina's mom sat Tina and myself and her sister down, and I know this is going to sound really weird, and to be honest, this next memory replays in my mind, and I find it very troubling. Tina's mom plays a video, and this video is a testimony. Yeah, they were testifying, both Tina and her sister, against their stepfather and father because he had sexually molested them, and he'd been doing so for many years. And this video would send him to jail, and he would be disfellowshipped. So yay for the 2-witness rule. This one, worked. Justice was served. But was it? Things changed for me at age 8. Things actually changed for me at age 5. I was a very bubbly child. I don't remember much about 5, but I remember I was bubbly. And then at 5, suddenly I became withdrawn. I became very quiet. I became very sad. At age 8, the ante was upped a bit because I became terrified. I was terrified watching this video. It terrified me to know that this man had abused his children. It made me afraid of men in the Kingdom Hall. I was frightened of every man in the Kingdom Hall. And I think at 8, I started having my first set of panic attacks. So the Kingdom Hall, it wasn't a safe place for me. I guess why I found this so difficult is because I thought I was alone with this information. I thought no one else knew, and that this was like a secret that I had to keep. And it wasn't until recently that I started to really look into this, because I've had a series of flashbacks involving this man and his stepdaughter. One is the very first time. I remember the very first time I met them. And I remember that he was very interested in me. He was a little too interested in me. And I have another flashback of being in his living room and I see him as everybody else sees him. God-fearing man who's a ministerial servant, the face of a Jehovah's Witness. And then it flickers in my mind, and what I see is a monster that lies underneath. And I was really afraid. I'm still afraid as an adult when these flashbacks occur. So I decided that because I can't really recall what happened, I honestly cannot recall anything after the age of 8. I recall seeing this video. I recall being terrified. I recall that I became mute for a while. I stopped talking. I really shut down. But I don't know what happened, and it's hard for me to recall, for certainty what was going on in the congregation at that time. So I asked someone who was there, and that person who still happens to talk to me, I just said, "Hey, did you know that there was a child molester in the Kingdom Hall?" And she said, "Yes, I did. Everyone knew. We just didn't talk about it." So the elders knew, my parents knew, the congregation knew, but nobody did anything. They didn't do a talk from the platform, warning the rest of the people in the congregation. They didn't talk to the other children in the congregation. They didn't talk to me. They didn't ask me if I had been molested. So all this time later, I'm horrified. I'm horrified that this type of behavior can go on. I'm horrified that everyone stayed quiet. And I think to make this matter worse, this man, after he served his jail time, he was reinstated. He moved to another congregation. He married another sister. And he had another child. A girl. The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society's policies and stance on sexual molestation of children has allowed this man to molest multiple children. And what is truly frightening, it's not just that the congregation knew, which is horrible, but I found out that his wife knew before she married him that he was a known child molester. And she, having a very small child of age 6, decided to marry him anyways. And then she, being a regular pioneer, thought it would be a great idea to leave her 6-year-old daughter and her 5-year-old new best friend alone with a pedophile. And he molested his stepchild. And then he molested his own child. I don't know if he molested me. I have no recollections. Except for the flashbacks. So you may wonder what kind of effect this has on a person. I think it's very common for ex-witnesses to have complex post-traumatic stress. And I've really suffered with that for the last 2 years or so. So that involves panic attacks, anxiety, depression, insomnia. It kind of comes with a host of other things as well. There's a number of symptoms. You don't need to have them all. And so, as I make this video, I think about, what's the purpose? What is it that I actually believe happened here? And I can tell you that I think that I was targeted by a pedophile through the friendship of his daughter to be groomed as his next victim. And I think he threatened me into silence. And for 37 years, I've been quiet. No one knows this. What I'm telling you, no one knows this. And when I think about the people who want to join this religion, or the people who want to go back to it, I say, please consider that pedophiles run free and children are sacrificed. I would not take my child to the kingdom hall. After what I've experienced, I would not take my child there. I would not take my child to the parking lot of a kingdom hall. Because at the kingdom hall, children don't matter. They're not a priority. And I suppose this video is also to other people who have suffered, not just childhood sexual abuse, which, let's admit it, it happens, it's happening, it's not being stopped, but to the others of us who have been spiritually abused, emotionally abused, neglected. Those of us who have been, painted badly, those of us who have been abandoned, those of us who haven't been heard because it's better for the corporation. I guess I'm spending a lot of time thinking about all those people that this organization has hurt. And all the people who've remained silent for all this time. It's no longer something I feel I can do. And so I hope others will share their stories too. So that we can all be heard. And we can all heal and move on. Thanks for watching. Sorry it was a heavy first video. Take care.